Welcome you guys to my Vikings season 4 episode 7 part 2 review. So King Harvard pretty much likes playing with the ladies, doesn't he? And it's really ironic, like he had like a shitload of women just on him, and Aslog didn't seem to mind. And it looks like Little Sigurd's just like, what? Who the fuck is this dude? It's just you can just tell by the expression on his face. Um, we have Ragnar dealing with the ramifications of his loss, and his reigning. It's ironic. And it's raining and it's thundering. You know what I mean? It's like an outward manifestation of Ragnar's pain of betrayal and defeat and all the shit he's been dealing with for the past, 4 seasons. You know, there's this particular scene in which he's really want the drugs that Yidu has been giving him, and he starts to just get frantic. He yells for Yidu, and Yidu's all saying, "You know what?" But King Findher, he's like, "I don't give a damn what King Findher says." He's like, don't hide that shit from me, woman. Please, I want the drugs, please." And then eventually, after he's just throwing through stuff, just throwing shit around just to find it, she eventually gives it to him. And then he just looks at her and just sort of, you know what I mean? Like a little frustration, his hands around his neck, like he wants to break her neck at that point. But he calms down, kisses her, whatever. So he gets towards the water, whatever, and he's just sitting down, and he's just beside himself, just like holding back tears, just rubbing his head, just because he doesn't know what to do. I think this is like really the first time in the series in which Ragnar has literally reached his boiling point, or is very close to reaching his boiling point. We never seen him, really. You never usually throughout the series, you really never know what Ragnar's thinking or his emotional state for the most part. But this episode, it was really like depressing in a way. Especially from season one, when like the person he was from season 1 and 2, to a lesser extent season 3, but to now it was like, damn, all the life struggle just really starting, to get to him. And speaking of which, his evil counterpart, Egbert, has pretty much, I believe he goes into a mausoleum, and there he meets Lord W, who, as we figured out from the last episode, is Lord Winston, and he is actually the Prince of Mercia. So pretty much, Egbert says, "This is an interesting place, you picked for a meeting, And then Prince Winston's like, "Yeah, this is a mausoleum of my great ancestors, you know, of Mercia, a Mercenian line, full of decadence, the most powerful army on this island." And you know what I mean? But it said, but pretty much he admits that, but like the last few years or 100 years, it's turned into a madhouse. You know what I mean? He pretty much says the caskets, whatever, saying those are caskets of my brothers, my sisters, my uncles, and my father. And then he has one particular casket involving his mother, in which he said his mother seen his sons, her grandsons, butchered, before her, and then her eyes were gouged out or cut out, her tongue was cut out, and her breast was cut out, you know, while she was still alive. And I was just like saying, God damn, what kind of animal house is that place? Now I'm saying to myself, Quinthrith must be a badass to survive that shit, And speaking of Quinthrith, you have Winston, aka Winston, go into detail, saying, and now you house yet another of those mad descendants of mine, Queen Quinthrith, who killed 2 of her brothers and her uncle just to maintain on the throne. Then Egbert's quick to say, listen, I didn't do it because out of love or shelter. I did it, so that because it's smart to not try to raise the ire, of your neighbor. You try to maintain stability, And then Winston gave him that look like saying, you know what? If you think Quinthrith represents stability, then you are just as crazy as she is, if not worse, And then he's like, you know what? I don't take you for being like Quinthrith. I think I see a man that can, that can lead into the future, I think he went on to say pretty much that this whole conflict, whatever, has led him to abandon God, because he doesn't believe God would allow such bad things to befall his loved ones, He says that his men will join up with his men, King Egbert's men, and they will destroy that council full of monkeys, drunkards, and indecisive idiots, pretty much. And that after, they win, that he's going to renounce his title and he's going to formally give Egbert the kingdom of Mercia. So he'll be both the king of Wessex and Mercia, while W, aka Winston, will pretty much um, be a go pilgrimage, pilgrimage to Rome as a beggar, to atone for his sins and try to gain some type of redemption in both his eyes and the Lord's eye. And he goes on to pretty much end the speech saying that, in his viewpoint, from his perspective, he sees that King Egbert is wily enough and tough enough and savvy enough to defend, England from the Northmen. So he tells the soldier to get his mother's casket. He opens it, or his mother's bones, whatever, and he says, "This is the ancestral crown of Mercia. Now it is yours." So Egbert takes it, and Egbert has this smirk on his face. And Egbert is such a great character. And he just looks at it and just like, I got it. This is just one more. This is, he was just so, that he has such, my God, once again, great character. But yeah, I believe that's all I have to say, about this particular episode. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you can. Subscribe to the channel. Rest of comments down below. And once again, this is your boy Josh Vision, and adios.